Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Audrey Kingsley, and if you've been here for a while, you already know that I don't sugarcoat things. I tell you exactly what I see in my clinic, what the research says, and what actually works in real life. After more than 30 years of practicing medicine, I've sat across from thousands of women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I've watched firsthand what happens when we ignore what's on our plate. Today, I want to have a real conversation with you about something I genuinely care about. Not a lecture, just me and you, talking about 6 natural foods that can make a meaningful difference in how you feel, how you look, and how well your body holds up after 50. Now, before we jump in, I want to say something important. A lot of you have been asking me, and I see it in the comments constantly. Dr. Kingsley, I watch 3 different YouTube channels and they all say something different. Who am I supposed to believe? I hear you. I really do. And I promise you, throughout this video, I'm going to be upfront about who each food is good for, who should be careful, and what the actual science says. No fear-mongering, no blanket statements, because you deserve better than that. Also, and I say this lovingly, these foods aren't magic pills that only work if you turn exactly 50. If you're 45, start now. If you're 72, it's not too late. The body is remarkably responsive at every age when you give it what it needs. All right, let's talk about what's really happening inside your body after 50, because understanding the why makes it so much easier to stick with the what. First, let's talk about weight. After 50, gaining weight becomes easier and losing it becomes harder. That's not your imagination, and it's not a lack of willpower. A 2021 study from Harvard School of Public Health confirmed that healthcare costs rise significantly for women in the 60 to 70 age range, largely because of conditions tied to weight gain and metabolic changes. What's happening is that your body starts storing more fat, and that fat begins to interfere with muscle quality. And here's where it gets serious. If you're not eating enough protein, you're at real risk for something called sarcopenia and dynapenia. I know those sound like words from a sci-fi movie, but let me break them down for you. Sarcopenia is when your muscle mass starts to shrink. Dynapenia is when your muscle strength declines. And here's the scary part. Dynapenia develops 2 to 5 times faster than sarcopenia. What that means in everyday life is that you can go from feeling a little weak to having real trouble with balance and stability faster than you'd expect. Falls and fractures become a genuine concern, and I've seen too many of my patients' lives change dramatically after a bad fall. Beyond your muscles, there's something else happening that most people don't talk about enough. Your brain. After age 50, neuron loss and neural damage become increasingly common. When nerve cells are damaged, they release a protein called neurofilament light, or NFL, into your bloodstream and cerebrospinal fluid. Think of NFL as a kind of alarm signal. The higher the levels, the more nerve damage is occurring. Elevated NFL has been linked to Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, and general memory loss. A 2020 study published in Nature found that after age 50, NFL levels increase by about 2.7% per year in people between 50 and 60. And for those over 60, that rate jumps to 4.3% annually. That's not something to brush off. And then there's your skin. After 50, your skin slows down its cell renewal process. It produces less oil, becomes drier and thinner. You start to see more veins, healing takes longer, pores look larger, and you may notice small white bumps near your eyes called milia. Those come from a buildup of oils and dead skin cells. Sun exposure that you barely noticed in your 30s now causes more pronounced wrinkles, dry patches, age spots, and rough, scaly areas. I know that's a lot to take in. But here's the thing. These changes are not inevitable in the way most people think. Your diet has an enormous influence over all of this. You are what you eat is one of those sayings that sounds like a cliche until you've spent 30 years watching it prove itself true over and over again in real patients. Eating more anti-inflammatory and antioxidant-rich foods can genuinely lower your risk of the most common age-related problems. Muscle loss, cognitive decline, skin aging, obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. That's why I've put together a list of 6 natural superfoods that I personally recommend to my patients after they turn 50. These are foods that are backed by solid research, accessible at basically any grocery store across the country, and realistic to add to your daily life. I've also taken into account the questions and concerns I hear most often, including from many of you in the comments. So I'll be telling you not just why each food is great, but also who needs to be careful. Let's start with number 6, yogurt. One of the most common deficiencies I see in women over 50 is calcium and vitamin D. And I also see a real lack of probiotics in most people's diets. Yogurt hits all 3 of those bases, which is why it earns a spot on this list. The probiotics in yogurt support gut health, which, and this might surprise you, is deeply connected to immune function, mental health, and inflammation levels throughout your entire body. Products that are fortified with calcium and vitamin D are especially beneficial for bone turnover, meaning they help your body maintain healthy bone density as you age. Research backs this up pretty strongly. In a large observational study of over 80,600 postmenopausal women and 43,306 men, all over age 50, researchers found that people who drank milk daily had an 8% lower risk of hip fractures compared to those who had milk less than once a week. Yogurt comes from milk, so it carries many of those same benefits, with the added bonus of live cultures. Yogurt and milk are also excellent sources of high-quality protein, which, remember what I said earlier about sarcopenia, becomes increasingly critical after 50. Now, I know some of you are lactose intolerant or sensitive to dairy. You're not left out here. Fortified almond milk and oat milk are genuinely solid alternatives. They've come a long way in terms of nutritional content, and many brands now offer versions that are rich in calcium, vitamin D, and even added protein. So, if dairy doesn't agree with you, don't worry, there are options. Moving on to number 5, berries. I cannot say enough good things about berries. If I could get every woman over 50 to eat a handful of blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries every single morning, I genuinely believe we'd see a measurable drop in chronic disease rates. The research on this is really compelling. First, the weight angle. Studies have consistently shown that the more fruit you eat daily, the less likely you are to gain weight over time. Berries are particularly useful here because they're filling, naturally sweet, and low on the glycemic index. After 50, when weight management becomes more of a battle, berries are one of the most practical allies you have. Then there's the skin benefit. Berries have been used for centuries for their protective effects on skin, against UV damage, against environmental stressors. They're packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, including fiber, vitamins A, C, and E and B complex vitamins. All of that adds up to real protection against the kind of skin aging we talked about earlier. But here's what I find most exciting about berries: the brain research. Oxidative stress and inflammation are 2 of the biggest drivers of neurodegenerative disease. Berries contain compounds like epicatechin and quercetin that directly fight those processes. Animal studies have shown that extracts from strawberries and blueberries can actually slow memory loss and even reverse cognitive deficits in some cases. And in a 2022 review of studies specifically on older adults, consuming berry-based products was linked to improvements in brain activity, memory, processing speed, and attention. That's not a small thing. That's the kind of protection we should all be actively seeking. I want to address something I see in the comments regularly. Some of you have heard from other channels that berries are bad, or that certain fruits spike blood sugar. For the vast majority of healthy people, berries are absolutely safe and beneficial. If you have specific concerns about blood sugar regulation, talk to your doctor about quantities. But don't let vague internet warnings scare you away from one of the most well-researched anti-aging foods we have. Number 4 on the list is yams. Now, yams are something I feel like people either eat all the time or never think about, and I want to put them firmly in your regular rotation. Yams are packed with vitamins A and C, important minerals, and powerful antioxidants that help combat aging at the cellular level. They're also an outstanding source of dietary fiber, which plays a crucial role in digestion and metabolic health, 2 things that become increasingly important after 50. Adequate fiber intake has been linked to lower risks of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and even certain cancers. A 2020 study on the compounds found in Chinese yam, specifically something called yam polysaccharides, found that they may improve learning ability and help recover spatial memory. The researchers also found that these compounds reduce tissue damage in the brain, liver, and kidney by decreasing oxidative stress, and they boosted key antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase. I know that's a mouthful, but essentially what that means is yams help your body clean up the cellular damage that aging causes. And for those of you who care about your skin, which honestly all of you should, there's an older but really interesting study showing that yam extracts increase skin hydration by 39 to 46% compared to a placebo cream. The extract also promoted the growth of human skin cells, so yams are genuinely working for you from the inside out. One note for my patients who are managing diabetes: yams do have carbohydrates, so portion size matters. They are lower on the glycemic index than regular potatoes, but if you're watching your blood sugar, just be mindful of how much you're having at once. A moderate serving is absolutely fine for most people. Number 3, spinach. Okay, this one I know is going to get some comments. Every week I see someone in here saying, "But I heard spinach is bad for your kidneys." So let me address this head on, because I think the confusion is doing real harm. Spinach is genuinely one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. It's a rich source of folate and flavones, which have been shown to help fight cancer and heart disease. It's loaded with vitamins A and C, which support collagen production and protect skin from aging. Studies suggest that spinach's flavonoids can reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. It's a great source of fiber that helps diversify gut bacteria and leads to higher production of anti-inflammatory compounds like butyrate. Research has even found that adding 10 grams of fiber daily can reduce the risk of death from all causes by 11%. Red spinach specifically has been linked in animal studies to enhanced skin color, hydration, collagen production, and elasticity. So yes, spinach is genuinely excellent for most people over 50. Here's the honest caveat: spinach is high in oxalates. Oxalates can bind with calcium and other minerals to form crystals that increase the risk of kidney stones, and they can also make it harder for your body to absorb calcium properly. So if you have kidney disease, particularly stage 3 or above, or if you've had kidney stones before, or if you have osteoporosis and are already struggling to absorb enough calcium, then spinach is something you should limit or avoid. Talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian about what's right for your specific situation. But for everyone else, please don't let the fear-mongering on the internet scare you away from spinach. For the overwhelming majority of healthy women over 50, it is a powerhouse food that you should be eating regularly. Number 2, ginger. I've been recommending ginger to my patients for decades, long before it became trendy. In my experience, it is one of the most underutilized natural tools we have for managing the kinds of issues that come up after 50. Inflammation, pain, blood pressure, brain fog. Let me walk you through why. Ginger gets its power primarily from 2 compounds, gingerol and shogal. These aren't just antioxidants. They offer broad protection against gut and brain diseases, bacterial infections, diabetes, and even certain cancers. Ginger extract also contains that same trio of antioxidant enzymes we talked about with yams, SOD, GPX, and CAT, making it a potent fighter against metabolic disease. Here's a study that really stayed with me. In 2022, researchers looked at older women with high blood pressure who added ginger to their diet at a dose of 75 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. Within just 30 days, these women saw measurable reductions in both blood pressure and fat levels. 30 days, that's real. Ginger also slows down inflammation by reducing the production of key inflammatory markers, including ROS, COX2, TNF-alpha, and others that you've probably heard mentioned in the context of chronic disease. And for those of you dealing with arthritis, I know that's a significant concern for many women in my practice. Ginger has shown real promise in treating both osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, particularly for reducing stiffness and pain in the knees. A 2019 review study confirmed ginger's anti-aging benefits for memory loss related to both amnesia and Alzheimer's disease. You can add ginger to smoothies, teas, stir fries, soups. Honestly, it's one of the most versatile ingredients in your kitchen. Fresh is great, but dried ginger works well too. If you have a chronic condition and you're taking medications, especially blood thinners or diabetes medications, just check with your doctor before going heavy on the ginger supplements, since high doses can interact with certain drugs. And now, number 1, salmon and tuna. If I could only pick one category of food for women over 50, it would be fatty fish. I say that after 30 plus years of watching what happens to patients who eat it regularly versus those who don't. The difference is real, and it shows up in muscle mass, brain function, heart health, and overall vitality. Fatty fish like salmon and tuna are rich in 3 key nutrients that become critically important as we age: protein, vitamin D, and omega-3 fatty acids. Let me break each one down. Protein first. Muscle loss is one of the most serious and underappreciated health concerns for older women. Most people know the recommended daily intake of protein is about 8 grams per kilogram of body weight. But here's what a lot of people don't know. If you're over 65, that recommendation jumps to 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram to properly balance nitrogen levels and maintain muscle mass. Salmon and tuna make it genuinely easy to hit those numbers. And there's research showing that eating about 150 grams of fish twice a week, that's roughly a 5-ounce portion, can lead to significant increase in hand grip strength after just 5 to 10 weeks. Hand grip strength sounds like a small thing, but it's actually one of the strongest predictors of overall physical function and longevity in older adults. Now let's talk about vitamin D. I test vitamin D levels in almost every patient I see, and deficiency is shockingly common, especially in women over 50. Vitamin D helps fight the harmful effects of excess fat and plays a direct role in muscle growth and maintenance. 4 ounces of salmon provides approximately 760 IU of vitamin D, which covers about 95% of your daily needs. That's remarkable for a single food. And then there's omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These are not the omega-3s you get from flax seeds or walnuts. Those are a different form that the body converts much less efficiently. The EPA and DHA from fatty fish are directly usable and have been shown to address age-related muscle decline, fight insulin resistance, and work with monounsaturated fatty acids to tackle fat-related issues that become more common after 50. A 2019 study also found that higher fish consumption is linked to a significantly lower risk of dementia in elderly people. Most major health organizations recommend 250 to 500 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day, which you can hit by eating about 8 ounces of fatty fish per week. For those of you who don't eat fish, whether for dietary, religious, or personal reasons, high-quality omega-3 supplements derived from algae are a valid alternative. That's actually where the fish get their omega-3s in the first place, so you're going straight to the source. Now I want to wrap this up by talking about something that goes beyond food, because I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't. In my 30-plus years of practice, I've never seen a patient transform their health through diet alone without also addressing the other pillars. Sleep is non-negotiable. Your body repairs itself during sleep in ways nothing else can replicate. Movement matters enormously, and I don't mean you need to be running marathons. A 30-minute walk most days of the week does more for your longevity than almost any supplement on the market. Managing stress constructively, whether through prayer, meditation, time in nature, or genuine connection with people you love, is not a luxury. It's medicine. And if you're still smoking or drinking heavily, those two things will undo most of the good work your diet is doing, because both accelerate the kind of premature skin aging and cellular damage we've been talking about today. The small choices you make every single day add up in a direction, either toward vitality or away from it. And the beautiful thing is, you get to decide which direction you're moving. So let me give you the practical takeaway from today. If you want to maintain muscle mass and strength, Make yogurt, milk, and fatty fish like salmon and tuna your anchors. If you want smooth skin, sharp thinking, and a healthy heart, lean into spinach and berries with all their vitamins and antioxidants. If you're dealing with pain, stiffness, or memory concerns, yams and ginger are your best natural allies. And one more thing before you go, I see so many of you in the comments asking really specific, really thoughtful questions about your individual situations. Kidney disease and diet, diabetes and which foods to prioritize, back surgery and muscle recovery. I want you to know that I hear you, and I'm working on videos that go deeper into those specific situations. Because one size fits all is not how medicine works, and it's not how I practice. If there's a specific condition or concern you want me to address, drop it in the comments below. I read them, and they genuinely shape what I make next. If today's video gave you something useful, even one piece of information you're going to take into your week, please give it a like and share it with someone you care about. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now so you don't miss what's coming. I'll see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. You're worth it.